Hello and welcome to my channel. In this video we will be looking at AQA Alevel Psychology 2019 Paper 1 Examplar Answers for Attachment, which you need to know for AQA Alevel Psychology. I hope you enjoy this video and find it helpful. Let's get started. Please note that these answers have been produced with knowledge of the mark scheme but have not been approved by the mark scheme themselves. There are 3 assessment objectives, AOs, in psychology. In this video they are color-coded. AO1 Knowledge, purple. AO2 Application, blue. AO3 Evaluation, red and green. Question 1. Outline findings from research into the role of the father in attachment. 4 marks. Schaefer and Emerson, 1964, found that in only 3% of cases of infant caregiver attachments, the father became the first primary attachment figure, with the majority of infants becoming attached to their mothers first as a primary attachment figure by 7 months old. In 27% of cases, the father was the joint first attachment figure with the mother. By 18 months old, 75% of infants had formed an attachment with their fathers, determined by the fact that the babies protested when their father walked away. This suggests that the father's role is important in an infant's development and attachment behavior and formation. However, it is unlikely that the father will become the infant's first attachment figure compared to mothers, with Schaefer and Emerson suggesting that this was because they spent less time with their infants. Field, 1978, filmed 4-month-old infants in face-to-face interactions with primary attachment caregiver mothers, secondary attachment caregiver fathers and primary attachment caregiver fathers. Primary attachment caregiver fathers, like primary attachment caregiver mothers, spent more time smiling, imitating and holding their infants than the secondary attachment caregiver fathers. This suggests that fathers have the potential to be the more emotionally focused primary attachment figure and adopt more maternal roles, being able to provide the responsiveness required for a close emotional attachment but only express this when given the role as a primary attachment caregiver. Question 2. Explain the economic implications of research into the role of the father in attachment. 4 marks. There are several economic implications of research into the role of the father. Firstly, increasingly fathers remain at home and therefore contribute less to the economy consequently, and mothers return to work and contribute more to the economy. This has already changes and influenced a shift towards shared parental leave and increased paternity leave for new fathers. This has implications for the employers in terms of paying for productivity, which they are not seeing. In addition, parental leave is partially funded by both the employer and the government, which has implications for funding if both partners seek to take leave. Question 3. Discuss research into the influence of early attachment on childhood and/or adult relationships. 16 marks. Bowlby's, 1969, internal working model, forms the basis continuity hypothesis, suggesting that attachments in early life form and act as a template and blueprint for future childhood and later adult relationships. An infant's first relationship with their primary attachment figure leads to the formation of a mental representation or schema of their first relationship. The quality of this attachment is crucial because this will give the infant a template, which will powerfully affect the nature of their future relationships, e.g. friendships, romantic relationship, as a parent. An infant, whose first attachment is a good experience with a loving and reliable attachment figure, will tend to assume this is how relationships are meant to be. They will seek out functional relationships and behave functionally within them, e.g. without being too uninvolved or emotionally close, insecure avoidant attachment, or being controlling and argumentative, insecure resistant attachment. An infant, whose first attachment is a bad experience with a hateful and unreliable attachment figure, will tend to assume this is how relationships are meant to be. This may mean they struggle to form relationships in the first place, or they may not behave appropriately within relationships, displaying insecure avoidant or insecure resistant behavior towards friends and partners. Myron Wilson and Smith, 1998, aimed to investigate whether there is a relationship between attachment styles and bullying behavior among children. They conducted their study using a sample of 196 children from ages 7 to 11 from various schools in London. They assessed the children's attachment styles through questionnaires that measured their perceptions of relationships with parents and peers. To evaluate bullying behavior, they employed self-report measures where children indicated their involvement in bullying, either as perpetrators or victims. The researchers also gathered information from teachers to gain additional insights into the children's social interactions. This comprehensive approach allowed them to analyze the links between attachment styles and bullying behaviors effectively. They concluded that secure children were very unlikely to be involved in bullying, insecure avoidant children were most likely to be victims, and insecure resistant children were most likely to be bullies. They concluded that there is a significant relationship between attachment styles and bullying behavior in children. Hazan and Shaver, 1987, aimed to investigate whether there was a relationship between attachment type and later adult romantic and intimate relationships. They conducted a study using 620 responses from 205 men and 415 women were collected from people aged 14 to 82 years old and analyzed from a love quiz printed in an American local newspaper. The quiz had 3 sections. 1. Assessed respondents' current or most important relationship. 2. Assessed general love experiences such as number of partners. 3. Assessed attachment type by asking respondents to choose which of 3 statements best described their feelings. A strength of research into attachment and later relationships is that it has practical implications. Research into attachment and later relationships has practical implications because it provides valuable insights that can be applied in therapeutic settings and parenting practices. By understanding different attachment styles, mental health professionals can tailor their interventions to address the unique needs of individuals, helping them develop healthier relationships and improve their emotional well-being. Furthermore, this research can guide parents and caregivers in creating supportive environments that foster secure attachments, which is crucial for the emotional and social development of children. Overall, the findings from attachment research can lead to effective programs and strategies that promote resilience and positive mental health outcomes. This is a strength because it suggests that the insights gained from attachment research can be effectively applied in real-world settings, leading to tangible benefits for individuals and families. It highlights the potential for positive change and growth through understanding attachment dynamics, which can empower both professionals and caregivers to create nurturing environments that support emotional well-being. By translating research findings into practical strategies, we can foster resilience and enhance relationships, ultimately improving mental health outcomes for those affected by attachment-related issues. A limitation of research into attachment and later relationships is that it is socially sensitive. Research into attachment and later relationships can be considered socially sensitive for several reasons. Firstly, it may reinforce negative stereotypes about individuals with insecure attachments, suggesting that they are destined to struggle in their relationships. This could lead to stigma and discrimination against those who have had difficult early experiences. Additionally, findings from attachment research can have implications for parenting and child-rearing practices. If parents feel that their attachment style will determine their child's future relationship success, it may create undue pressure and anxiety, potentially affecting their parenting behaviors. Moreover, the emphasis on early attachment experiences might overlook the role of later life experiences and social contexts in shaping relationships. This can lead to a deterministic view that does not account for resilience and the capacity for change, which is particularly important in understanding the influence of supportive environments and interventions on mental health outcomes. This is a limitation because it suggests that individuals with insecure attachments may have a fixed trajectory in their relationships, which can undermine the understanding that resilience and positive change are possible. It implies that early experiences are the sole determinants of later relationship success, neglecting the impact of supportive environments and interventions that can lead to recovery and growth. This deterministic view can be harmful, as it may discourage individuals from seeking help or believing in their ability to improve their relational patterns. A limitation of research into attachment and later relationships is that a cause and effect relationship cannot be established. The link between early attachment, the internal working model, and later relationship experiences is it is all based on correlational data. Therefore, it cannot be concluded that early attachment types cause later love relationships, as there may be other variables in between that influence these relationships. For example, individual differences and innate temperament may be an intervening variable and influence how a parent responds to the child itself in the formation of their attachment style. The temperament hypothesis suggests the quality of adult relationships is determined biologically from innate personality. This temperament may then be the basis for how later relationships are conducted. This is a limitation because it suggests that the relationship between early attachment and later relationships may be more complex than a simple cause and effect link. It implies that other factors, such as individual temperament and personality traits, can significantly influence how attachment styles develop and how they manifest in adult relationships. This complexity means that the conclusions drawn from attachment research may not fully capture the nuances of human behavior and the various influences that shape relationship dynamics. A limitation of research into attachment and later relationships is that it is environmentally deterministic. Research into how early attachment influences later relationships is overly deterministic, as it assumes early childhood attachment types are fixed into adulthood. Also, the assumption that those who are insecurely attached at the age of 1 are definitively going to experience emotional unhappiness in relationships as adults is clearly incorrect. Researchers have found many cases where people who were not securely attached as infants go on to lead happy adult relationships later in life. Simpson et al., 2007, concluded that the past does not unalterably determine a person's future and many factors may intervene to influence later attachment. There is also research that has found that children can recover from deprivation and privation and form effective adult relationships, e.g. Tizard, 1989, and therefore an infant is not doomed to be the victim of bullying or to never have a successful romantic relationship as a result of their early negative attachment. This is a limitation because it suggests that early attachment experiences are the sole determinants of later relationship outcomes, ignoring the influence of other factors such as individual temperament and the dynamics of adult relationships. By assuming a fixed trajectory based on early attachment styles, it overlooks the potential for change and growth throughout a person's life. Thank you for watching. If you have enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe for more content like this. Bye.